Hi everyone, welcome to Learn English with Miss. In today's lesson, we're going to learn about whose versus whose. Whose is a possessive pronoun like her, his, our, and etc. We use whose to find out which person something belongs to. Let's look at a few examples. Whose car is this? Whose notebook was stolen in the class? The child whose bicycle has been lost cried. The girl whose bag is red is looking for you. Whose is always a contraction for who is or who has. Who is the same as who apostrophe s. Let's look at a few examples. Who's driving that blue car? Who's to be responsible? Who's playing the guitar? Who's your favorite TV star? Whose is a contraction of who is or who has. Now that we know this, let's look at a few more examples. Who's watching TV? Do you know who's going to speak? Who's ready to go? Who's in the kitchen? Who's this? Who's already eaten? Whose is the possessive of who, or, somewhat controversially, whose is the possessive form of who, showing belonging. Do you know whose car this is? I know a woman whose kids study there. Whose side are you on? Whose umbrella is still wet from the rain? Interrogative sentences using whose and whose. Do you know whose turn it is? I do not know who's writing this. Whose book is that? Sarah, do you know whose ball that is? Whose bed was made first? Whose dad is the strongest? Whose jacket is hanging over there? Whose room is the cleanest? Whose shoes are by the door? Whose team are you on? And whose? WHO apostrophe S. Who's been to the zoo? It's also the same as who has been to the zoo. Who's going swimming this weekend? It's also the same as who is going swimming this weekend. Who's going to the party? Who is going to the party? Who's got the most energy? Who has got the most energy? Who's had their breakfast already? Who has had their breakfast already? Who's winning the race? Who is winning the race? In today's lesson, we learned the difference between whose versus whose. Thank you for watching and learning with me. I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.